Alrighty then. What's up, aliens and earthlings? This is Contact Pluto, episode 1. I'm Contact the Capricorn, and this is Pluto the Scorpio. Let's see here, what do I got in my notes? Well, we're transmitting to you from the wintry east coast of Canada. We're here on site at the Contact Pluto headquarters. On this channel, we'll be debunking the bullshit surrounding various spiritual, philosophical, and psychological concepts. In this episode here, we will be talking about the spiritual/philosophical concept, as above, so below. Now, the full quote goes, as above, so below, as within, so without, as the universe, so the soul. It was allegedly written by Hermes Trismegistus. What we could find on the internet was he was a Greek philosopher. He was the founder of Hermeticism. Now, Hermeticism was later taken, and it was the basis for the philosophical concepts of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. Now, some of you may be familiar with the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn as the religion that Aleister Crowley practiced. That's about as far as we're going to go on that. We could get into that in another episode maybe, but we want to talk about the concept here. So
yeah, let's get her going.
As above, so below. Shoot, Jules. See what you...
Well, I'd say I like to start breaking it down. You know, like, as above, so below is already a concept that people already embody all the time.
Okay.
And to go into that, I think we should talk about what that first part means.
Okay.
As above, so below. So that would suggest that what happens above happens below, and what happens below affects what happens above. So it's like a synergetic yin yang effect, constantly inundating itself all the time.
Okay, so do you kind of agree that that's how it is, or you think that's something different? What do you kind of think about that, Kat?
It's a cool concept, but it leaves a lot of loopholes in different sets. Like, for example, when you think of how you affect your environment and how it affects you, that's two simultaneous things that are going back and forth there.
Yeah, I can get down with that. So whenever I hear that, it pisses me off because I think of as above, so below, and then we kind of talked about this last time, but I think that...
Well, yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up again, and you had mentioned that Jesse had said that too, right?
Yeah.
He was saying that, what he thinks creates his reality, and that can... I see it that way too. You can see it from the small perspective, seeing how you see your thoughts influence everything around you. But I also, when I look at that exact quote, I actually see it in the bigger scheme of things, how the planets affect us, how the different stars affect us.
Yeah. See, the thing that I feel like this implies is that we have control over them just as they have control over us. And that's what I always get picky about, because I don't really think that we can control the planets. But I do definitely think that the planets control us. So there's plenty of evidence of that.
And then we had talked about that last time, how there's a degree, just because the planets are bigger than us, that would make their control better than ours, or stronger. I wouldn't say better, but...
Yeah. I'm just thinking, should we be mentioning so much about what we previously mentioned?
No, well, we can tell we had this conversation before, man.
Yeah. Okay, well, I just kind of fucked this whole thing up then.
It's okay.
Well, do we restart then?
No, man, make it raw.
Well, if it's raw, alright, we'll keep fucking going. Alright, so we did have a long discussion about this one night. Kind of inspired the whole idea for the podcast itself. We just shoot the shit about this kind of stuff all the time, so I figure we bring the idea to you guys.
That's exactly it. We just kind of made sense. We talk about these things all the time, whether it be texting or anything like that. It's it was just natural for us, so it just made sense for us to film this. When we had a conversation specifically about this, we were like, why didn't we film this?
Yeah,
that was the very first thing we had thought.
I think an hour and a half long, just fucking shooting this shit.
Yeah.
That's where the name Contact Pluto came from too. At the end of it, we just basically, I don't know, I'm like, we can't fucking control the planets. If we all tried to do something that's a big thing to get into right now, but I didn't think that we could control the planets like the planets control us. So then for me, that's why I got too many bones to pick with this thing. I didn't know that they had an extension to the quote, because I think most people probably hear as above, so below. I didn't know that they had also...
And that's the end, but like...
Exactly.
And that's definitely not it. There's two other parts that are huge,
as within, so without, like that...
That goes to more towards what Jesse said. So, like, how he views his inner world is how the inner world interacts with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like how you think up here reflects out there. So, you know, for example, like all the stuff I keep around me is to induce like a better mind state for myself. Like I prefer certain colors. I don't know, like purples and blues and turquoises, and like my color list is very short. But for me, that helps me keep my mind how I want to keep my mind, and it's I think it's a bit neurotic in a way, but it fucking seems to function for me, I guess. So anyways, that I can apply to as within, so without. It's still kind of worded weird, like as within, so like as within, like what you're thinking, I guess. So without, like why do they use so doesn't really make any sense. Why you
I always wondered that too, and I'm looking at it now that I look at it again, like it almost, I wanted to say like, I think this is why I think of it this way, because I remember hearing Aleister Crowley one time saying, what happens above must happen below, and what happens below must happen above. Yeah. To create the wonders of the world. Yeah, that's literally, like, I'm not sure where I heard that, but I'm pretty sure that was like a vocal recording of Aleister Crowley.
Do you find that puts too much, like, brilliance on the human capacity? Like, if it, like, what happens
why would you want to diminish it?
Well, because I want it to be accurate. So I'm going to diminish it to the level that it would be realistically, rather than to like blow smoke up its ass for the sake of like a quote kind of conforming and being more authentic. Definitely. The thing with this so without like... That's why because I had heard it originally as above, as below. I don't know if that was just somebody like misworded it, but then that like... I don't know, as above, as below almost makes that, in terms of like speaking it, maybe makes it make more sense. Because if you say as within and then so without, like what do you so without, like what are you using so? Does so make sense?
It's kind of confusing. I can see me being an intelligent human being. At least I think I'm a little bit intelligent.
Yeah, well, we can confirm that. Yeah. Sources say.
I understand what it means, but I don't know why it's worded that way. Yeah. At least I think I understand what it means.
Do you think it's just like something about the time, like it's old English type shit? You know, like
it could be. They like, just then again, it's like also translated from this guy.
That's true. Hey, it was translated in Greek.
That's a whole other thing we forgot to even mention.
Yeah. Well, was it like legitimately first conceived in Greek, and then we just translated and like lost in translation bullshit? Yeah. Yeah, you think that's just
more than likely? I'm trying to look for error here.
Yeah, because I thought the 30s. 30 make no goddamn sense. Not 30s, like 1930s.
But if you guys find the time frame where Hermes Trismegistus was around the Earth, post that in the links below.
Yeah, I think like to continue talking about this, it doesn't really matter so much what time frame was.
Well, it just goes to show like how long it's been since. This has been around.
So shit could be lost and shit could be found.
Do you want to talk about the last part?
Well, yeah, we'll get to this here. So as the universe, so the soul. So that to me is like the most worthy fucking line in that whole thing, really.
Definitely, and that goes with a lot of Taoist and Buddhist philosophy.
Okay. Yeah.
Reason being is that they talk about how you are everything. You are literally everything. You're made of the same stuff.
Yeah.
That basically means that as the universe, so the soul. That means the soul and the universe are the same thing.
Because to me,
there's no separateness.
I agree with that, and then I kind of feel like that's too much of a generalization, because what I see in this, just from an understanding of astrology, is the universe. I wouldn't go as far to say the universe, but if you look at astrology and if you really study it, it's a very complex like science, and this is why so many people think it's a pseudoscience, and you know. You're not going to do the work to figure something out, well, you're just a fucking idiot, you know? But if you look into this subject and you kind of, research, it takes a lot of time. I've been at it for a long time. I still don't understand everything. But you can, with study, you can see how the planets really impact certain points in your life. And, you look at your sign traits. Now, I'm just going to break this down for people maybe they don't know fully. Most people know their sun. So, like, for example, I was born January 10th, so the sun was in Capricorn, and thus I am a Capricorn. Same, Jules Scorpio. He was born in November. Sun was in Scorpio. Now, most people don't even know that they have a moon sign, all right? They, obviously some people do, and I like to think the smarter you are, the more you know about that stuff, just because you kind of tend to get into these things. Yeah. Anyway, it's not necessarily the truth, but you have a moon sign, like, for example, my moon's in Scorpio, Jules' moon is in Taurus, and then, like, so on and so forth. You know, you get a Mercury, your Mercury's in some sign, you know, your Mars, like, my Mars in Taurus, your Mars is in Scorpio, I think, isn't it? Yeah, so, like, every planet
all that
has
Scorpios.
a sign. And the thing too is I'm not gonna break it down that far because there's people who know about astrology. I'm not gonna bore them to death. But what I wanted to drive the point home, if somebody's kind of just vaguely knows about it, you got every fucking planet is in some sign. So when you're born, it's like they all travel the same circle, and it's like a time print. It's like it just stops, and so you get that. So whatever for you, your moon is in whatever sign, and the traits of that sign, well, they're going to affect your life according to those traits. So you can delve more into that and figure that out. We can do a whole other episode about that kind of stuff. But for me, when I read this as the universe, so the soul, that's what really fucking drives it home for me in terms of a connection, is because the universe, maybe not so much the universe, but the planets that we have incorporated in our zodiac circuit, those things for sure affect you on the daily. So that I'm with, but the concept, and I guess what you're saying too is that, people made of stardust, people made of like everything that we're made of is from everything, and that makes sense too. I feel like that's like part one. You combine that with the astrology, and you get like it helps. They're symbiotic. They feed each other and make things make more sense.
I'll get into this later, but like the whole concept of everything's energy, that would mean that there's only one kind of energy.
Yeah.
That would also mean that since energy is a one thing, that it retains all information.
Yeah.
So you could go as far as to say that everything that has ever happened is available to you at all times. Yeah. And this goes into a lot of different religions. In Buddhism and Zen and basically,
I'm with you completely. See, I always hate things when they say like, you are one with everything, because for me, like, I feel like it's too vague. Like, I need kind of specifics, because like, if I'm a tree and I'm the ocean, I'm a bee. Like, the fuck is that to me? Like, it doesn't. I don't know. Like, if I eat a bee and I eat a tree and I eat the ocean, like, it's still the same thing. I don't know. Like, I think of it kind of weirdly like that. So I sort of like the specifics of getting like, okay, what the fuck does that mean? I get the concept of like, we're all kind of connected, that sort of notion. But to me, if it's just one energy, that would imply that one energy has one type of behavior. So I like it split apart into like the zodiac, the astrology kind of does that. They split it apart into 12 things, and then those 12 signs have their own respectful energy. So then they have their behavior, and that's why, like, because it's not you who said that. It's just like, that's something that's said, and I feel like I just see too many fucking dickweeds, and not you, but you've seen these kind of people too, like these spiritual people, like, we're all one, bro. Like, fucking suck a cock, dude. Like, I don't want to hear that. They just kind of use it as a, like, oh, we're all one, bro. Like,
they wear it like a badge, It's like, man, don't hurt people. Like, this is not that we're all one. This is like a moral that you've put down that I have to, like, either accept or reject. Like,
them presenting it
specifically to you. Them, like the people that hold that badge.
Yeah, they just wield it.
That's specific type of people. I'm not saying everyone like that, but like you guys know the people, like that person.
Yeah, everybody's met a spiritual shitbag, and I feel like
and they wear it. They wear it like a badge. Like, it's like look what I've achieved. Yeah, spiritualness, and like any kind of human, you always want to bring something back, especially if you had a profound effect on something, or something had a profound effect on you. I mean,
well, yeah, people have the need
you want to show people what you've done. To like, you know what I mean? Like, say you went on a spiritual journey and you did something, and how are you going to show people that?
Well, people want the thing is, if you need to show people like that, piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. Like, that's just, for me, that's the bar right there.
I'm not saying that specific to like.
No. But like, I'm not saying you, Jules. You and me were always fucking good. Yeah. But people who do that, what I'm saying is like, they're usually kind of shitty. Like, if you need to go tell somebody about all your sort of stuff. Yeah. Like, if you need to tell them, you feel like, and see, what I get so pissed off about is there's a lot of good information in the spiritual field, but you have these fucking weirdos and just kooks behaving like this. It deters people from even venturing into this field. So for me, that's why I get so pissed off at these folks. I'm like, fucking go be a bag of shit like in your house. You know, don't do this, and don't be like slinging around this fucking field like that you're all in it and knowledgeable, and then deter people from finding something that could be useful. I hate when people do shit like that, because to me it's like, you know, you're basically, it's so ass backwards, because you want people to believe something, all right? And then the stuff that you're believing, like within that field, there is useful stuff to everybody. But since you're like so forceful, you're actually you're doing the opposite of what you want to achieve. And it's like, fuck. I mean, you can see this in anything. There's lots of, anytime anybody's too preachy, it's just...
It's all across the board in the spiritual, like, fad that's going on. Like, look at these yoga guys or these gurus. What guru is better than the next guru? Like, I'm better. Look at me. I'm Deepak Chopra. What makes you better than fucking Rajneesh?
The most honest one's the best one.
Yes. Well, that gets back to a personal opinion, right?
Well, no, because we were talking about earlier, absolute truth.
Yes.
So, the truest truth. If you know the truest truth,
that would mean that the best guru has no opinion. He just talks the absolute truth.
Yes, yeah, and then because that's the splitting the hair with the opinions thing, and I get you completely.
And that's where I was getting with opinions. A little short recap. We were talking about what it means to have an opinion, and we were like basically saying why, what determines an opinion. Basically, is it a fact? Is it an attachment? What do you think, Il?
Yeah, well, I think you know, if you know something, you know something. If you don't know something, don't fucking talk like you know something. It's a pretty simple, straightforward thing to me, but people aren't honest. This is my take of life, I guess. You know, everybody's just saying something. It's just, if you trace it back, we're all just saying something somebody said. That's too fucking in a tangent in another direction. But
yeah, with
the opinions thing, it's like that's a loophole. Like, I mean, when we were talking about it, it's like, I don't want to have this conversation, because you and I both know, like, you know, if somebody's telling the truth, then yes, then they don't have an opinion, because they're telling you the truth. Yeah. Now, you get everybody say, well, how you know truth? You get these faggots saying, like, oh, personal truth? Like, fuck off, bro. You can fucking take that shit.
It's such a weird thing to say, like, even the word truth by itself.
Well, yeah, truth means true. Like, it's
like,
true.
You really don't even need the word absolute there. Because
no.
Like that would make a difference between truth and then absolute.
There's so
truth.
Many shitbags, basically.
And I laughed about this too. Was practical philosophy.
Practical philosophy. I mean, fuck.
Like, that's the most dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Practical. Well, practical. How do they mean it? They're like, they got to break it down for you because you're so stupid you can't understand how to use it, like, in the first place.
Like, if there was anything that would be that's what it would be for practical philosophy.
Yeah.
Because all philosophy should be practical. Then therefore it wouldn't be philosophy. It would just be
theories.
That.
Yeah. It's like, if it's not usable, then it's just
What's
a fucking pipe dream.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Fucking. And this is what we have to do because so many people are.
This is one of the main reasons why we made this podcast, is because we're trying to get these things out there. And
yeah, crack
it is what it is.
Like, fucking split the onion, and hopefully we peel back a few layers to make things a little more understandable to folks. I mean, fuck. It took us long enough. We've been on this train for what, 7 years now? Like, in our own respective things. I think we both got started kind of like spirit science.
Yeah, spirit science. Shout out to spirit science. Yeah. We started there.
And amen, spirit science.
And that kind of got the ball rolling for a lot of different things. Like,
yeah, because they touch on just about every aspect of this field.
Psychic stuff, occult magic, crystals, healing,
chakras,
meditation.
Yeah,
and me personally, I'm definitely drawn to specific things. Like
we didn't mention the History of the Earth movie. That thing I found hella fucking useful.
Oh my god, yeah, I forgot about that. I haven't watched that in a long time.
Man, I watched it a couple times. Like, Jesus.
History of the Earth. That's with like
the Atlantean theory, and Mars, and the Hebrews.
We were on Mars before. We fucked up Mars. We came back here.
Well, some cats, because it said like they opened up a portal on Atlantis. There's like 6 or 7, and we had enough
super
folks.
Cool shit.
That shit, to me, makes a lot of things make more sense. Pretty fucking far out.
And the whole, astral body meditation sex to create Jesus.
Yes, yeah, true, yeah.
Because like the born virgin or virgin born.
Yeah, transcendental
Yeah,
meditation,
some funny shit.
sex. Yeah,
All right.
figure that out sometime. No, that's true, man. So yeah, again, shout out to fucking spirit science. Yeah, shout out to spirit science. I guess through that we kind of, I've always sort of, we talk about this a lot. So we sort of split two different ways in a sense. Like, I kind of focus more on mental shit, and then you sort of focus more on like health benefits at this, like in the beginning. But I feel like now we've merged more than ever in terms of. I mean, I'm still not on the health stuff so much, but like
that's me though.
Yeah, you know? No, you kind of get to the, because you eat as healthy as you want, but like you gotta grow your mind too. You gotta feed your mind.
My personal philosophy when it comes to like the health stuff, I want to like work at optimum potential. Like that's definitely one of my goals. If I have any goal, it's to allow my body to work at its peak.
Yeah.
At its complete optimum potential. To push the boundaries of where we've already been, basically.
Yeah, we'll get it as healthy form, and if you get a healthy
because
shift,
if once you're healthy, everything else is going to work better. You're going to think better. You're going to sleep better.
Yeah.
These are all different things you have to take in consideration if you want to be the best you can possibly be.
Yeah, and then see, my bone to pick with that was always like, if you're eating all healthy, it doesn't like necessarily mean that brilliant thoughts are going to pop into your mind. So I always thought, the more you read, the better off you'd be, and by reading more, you'd just be so conscious of things, like you'd end up switching your diet. Like, I felt doing the mind way eventually led to the body way, and then we're kind of saying it both ways.
You kind of like, you moved it because you realized how you were feeling when you eat certain foods. And that definitely happens.
Just by being like more self-conscious,
yes,
because I was thinking more about what I was thinking,
I wouldn't even, self-conscious is a good word. I'd say aware. Just having awareness of your own body and how things react with you when you eat them.
Yeah, because the thing is,
that's a huge thing, man.
What we see it
food triggers
is like, I see it happen a lot, like vice versa, in terms of like, people think, oh, they get all healthy, all right, and then they're all healthy, and then this is where these spiritual shitbags come in again. Because they'll be like, oh, I'm vegan, bro, like, fucking, they got all these things about plants and this thing and that thing and saving animals, and like, I ain't dissing that, it's smart to do it that way, but everybody hates people who just go on about anything too much. Being preaching anything sucks, for sure, okay, solve that, but the thing is, I've noticed a few people, I know you know who I'm fucking talking about, but, they start eating, and then they're, like, oh yeah, since I've been eating, like, I've gotten more, like, in tune and philosophical, and then you hit them with some sort of intelligent shit, and they crumble like a bag of beans, and that to me is like, okay, it works, but you gotta kind of be it from the start to even be it at all, like, you kind of tap into it. I feel like for you with the health stuff, maybe helped you realize what you already had there, but I feel like you already had it, and that's why you could become it. People, I wouldn't want to just blow smoke up somebody's ass and say, well, you know what,
you definitely
go vegan, eat healthy, you'll be fucking intelligent and philosophical, because that's not how shit works. Like, it's a sad reality, but I think like everybody thinks like, oh, we just do this and then we'll be this. Like, no, bro, you could be that if you're equipped. But if you're not equipped, you're not going to be that, and that's fine too. Like, there ain't nothing wrong with not.
For sure, man. It's wherever you shine your light is what path you're going to go down. Like, you like you said, you had it if you have it from the start, like you said, you go down whatever path you ever want to. So for me personally, when I dive into something, I go into it fully. I learn as much as I can about it, and I become that. But once I've gotten past that, I move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
And then from nutrition and health, as far as like making my physical body the best it could, I branched on to more mental work, more meditation, more Zen, more philosophical arguments. I started listening to people like Osho and Alan Watts, and
I love Alan Watts.
you know what I mean? All those guys, Sam Harris, like a lot of those great spiritual
kind
people.
Kind of legend.
Yes.
But you kind of, would you say not that you knew where to go too?
Like, I knew what I thought, and I knew that I liked what I thought.
Yeah.
So whatever path it led me on, if I found those people. It's not like someone recommended me. Like it happens sometimes, but I usually find out these people for my own self because I have my own.
That's what I'm saying. Like your intuition,
judgment. I have my own judgment.
Too, like you read something, mentions somebody, and you're like, yo, who the fuck's that? And you kind of go check that out, and then just like, it goes like a ladder. Because what I'm just thinking as you're saying this is, I always hated the quote of them saying like, oh, you can be whatever you want to be. Like, do you agree with that? Because to me, like, I just like, a duck can't be a fucking penguin. And this is, I think
this quote, it's very generalized.
Well, yeah, but this is kind of what we're talking about. We're debunking these fucking cliches that people say.
You're 100% right.
And it's like,
the majority of that is wrong. I'm going to say it that way.
Yeah.
I think it's actually meant for, that specific quote's actually meant for people to break free to do what they want.
Yeah, like from an encouragement standpoint.
Not that they can do anything, but like,
they
can in a certain sense, because they kind of know, or when you figure out what you want.
You're kind of encouraging, like, if somebody's doing some shit job and they really want to be, I don't know, fucking firefighter or something. Yeah. And you say, like, oh, you can be whatever you want to be. I mean, in that situation... Then your
parents be like, you can't do that, you're dumb as shit.
I mean, parents...
That's one thing.
People say parents, it in their heads. Bunch of fucking...
Parents are huge influence. But not the majority. Millennials. We had this conversation the other day.
Yeah.
If you're a millennial and you were somewhat in an adolescent form and the internet came out, more times than not, the internet is very, very huge influence on your life and how you go about your day and information and how everything works.
So influence in terms of how you consume, because the information, I guess, was still out there previously.
You still have to go search it yourself, for sure.
It's definitely easier access.
You scroll down your Facebook feed. There's so many different articles. And
I get what you're kind of saying. Like, the variance is definitely at a higher volume.
Or YouTube, or even TV. Like, it's huge influences, especially on our parents. They don't even realize how much they're influenced by TV.
No, fuck. I mean, that generation doesn't even have those
First thing my dad, when I get home from work, first thing I see is my dad sitting on the couch just watching the news. I'm like, Dad, you know how much shit is? Like, and he tells me, like, this is shit. I'm like, so why the fuck are you watching it?
Yeah, that's, I mean, what can we do about that?
It's almost a drug.
Yeah, I know, it works like that. Well, let's get back to the be whatever you want to be thing. Yeah. I just want to kind of finish touching on this just because I'm thinking, like, people saying this and things, this is really, I guess, this is kind of the focus of the podcast of just breaking down cliches that people say all the time.
Yes.
And they say it mindlessly. And then, so, I mean, how people say it mindlessly, that's another bone to pick. But the thing I want to be is, like, is it true or is it not? If people can be whatever they want to be, like, I think we both sort of agree that's not really true. Like, you shouldn't be saying stupid shit like that, folks. Anyways, but it becomes a cliche and it becomes something, you get into awkward situations and that's just what you say, like, these people need more integrity. People in general need more integrity, and so yeah, I think it's obviously it's good that we break these things down, and possibly, if you're thinking that's a good fucking quote to say to anybody, shut the fuck up. Say something different.
On the same note, I do want to mention something that I heard from Alan Watts. This is one of my favorite things that I've taken from him, is that why become better?
Why become better?
Why become better?
That's like, duh. Like, what do you want to be? Shittier? Like, then this is why I always hate Alan Watts, because, like, he says these things, I feel like it's like almost like a smugness, like, why become better? And I get what he's saying, like, oh, like, don't try to, like, do these things, and, like, maybe trying doesn't make it as authentic, but, like, why try to be better? Dude, like, do you want to, like, I can just draw the line as skateboarding, right? If you fucking skateboard, you can learn to ollie, and then Alan Watts comes up and he says, why try to be better? Bro, I want to learn to fucking kickflip. I want to fucking switch flip a 16 stair. Like, get the fuck out of here with that. Why do you want to be better? Like, and then maybe I'm taking it too literal, but to me, if you can say something that can be misinterpreted in a fucking weird way, don't say that thing. Say it some way different and avoid, like, misconception. It's a misconception.
His whole argument is that why become better would mean that if you didn't become better, it's because you didn't want it bad enough. Or if you were better, you wouldn't have to become better. It would already happen to you. Because it's something you wanted.
you'd already
be better. You wouldn't want to become better because you're already that.
Well, then, see, this still kind of, like, full of holes to me. Because, like, if you're saying why be better and you're already, like, say you're one of the top at your field. Like, who do we... Say, we can use Gordon Ramsay, I guess, in a sense. Like, he's... You know, just as an example, I don't know shit about chef, but, you know more about that world than me, so I'm just kind of trying to parallel something that... Because if I'd say Nigel Houston, I don't know how much that reference, gains traction, but... If we say Gordon Ramsay and we say, like, okay, Gordon Ramsay is, like, he's a good chef. I think everybody can agree he's a fucking good chef. And so Mr. Watts comes up with his smugness and says, why try to be better? Well, he doesn't even talk about that. He does a shitty, I hate his voice. Anyways, so, and he says to Gordon Ramsay, like, why try to be better?
Yeah.
And Gordon Ramsay, say he's one of the top in his field, if we want to classify him as that. Like, why try and be better? If you stop trying to be better, you lose. For people who like live that kind of life, that is like a complete deterrent. Like, you start to crumble, you start to decay. If you're not always trying to be better, then, like, what's the point of living? Like, that's almost like denounces evolution. Like, why try and be better? Like, what the fuck? Like, say that to a caveman. Why would you say that to a fucking caveman?
It's a funny thing to say. I think you are taking it literally.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, this is what... I'm always picky about words, man.
I know you are.
You choose your words, and you gotta use them, because that's this
the
whole
way
game.
The way I'm gonna describe this argument is that
Yeah.
he wants you to do what you feel doing, not because you should become better, but because you want to become better. Because that's something. If you want something, that means that implies.
Let me check that. I gotta insert the show because it's funny. So he's essentially saying, "Do what you love," but instead he chose for some reason to say, "Why do better? Why try better?
Why become better?
Why become better?"
Yeah.
So is it kind of like he's saying, "Do what you love"?
In a sense, yes, but that's not becoming better. That's doing what you love.
Yeah, and like
if you're doing what you love,
yeah,
and what you enjoy doing,
well, you naturally have an urge to become better.
Exactly,
right?
It's not even becoming better. You're just doing what you love.
Well, and
to become better is something you don't have and you want.
Yeah.
Where when it's something you love,
yeah,
there's no becoming better at all. You're just doing something that you love.
Well, I mean, there's obviously becoming better because you learn stuff and you incrementally progress your skill set and your skill set grows. So I mean, that's like, and this is why I absolutely hate the fucking thing, because like if you do something that you love, all right, it's not a guarantee that you'll be a professional or be the best, but you will from day one to like day fucking 10,000, you'll be better than you were on day one. Yeah, at day 10,000. Like, that's an obvious statement. So you're gonna become better just like automatically. Maybe is he like trying to say like it's just gonna come like no matter what? Like, I don't. How do you think he's saying this? Because if I'm taking it,
the reason why he says it that way is because we're always putting pressure on ourselves to get better and do better all the time. That gives us anxiety all the time.
Diamonds, bro. Like, fuck, you want to be a diamond or a lump of coal? That's how I kind of see it. Like, I have no qualms with putting pressure on myself because that's the only way I get stuff done. I mean, if I just like...
Yes, but like, if you don't enjoy doing something and you have to become better at it, then that's a whole other thing. Like, if you have to go to a job that you don't like...
See, that he's not even saying that in that quote, Like, that's not what
He actually does. That whole segment, he says...
So then this is just...
Why do a job that you become better at?
Okay. Well, then is this even a quote then, or is this just like the summary of his full like?
This is about a 5-10 minute video, like him explaining why he says that.
Okay.
He starts off, he's like, "Hey, why become better?"
Okay, so then this is like, it's not really fair to say this is a quote because that thing's so easy to take out of context, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's better to go read or listen to what Alan Watts said.
This is why we have this conversation.
Okay, so in this whole thing, he's basically just saying that like, stuff that you don't enjoy doing, you have no passion for, you don't like it, like, why become better, as in terms of like, don't waste your time.
Yeah.
Really. So like, I mean, I would summarize that as like, don't waste your time. I wouldn't say that like, why become better, because that shit is just like, why become better? Why fucking word shit like a trash ass bag of shit?
It just gives you that relief that you don't need to be constantly attaining goals all the time to get to another goal, to get to another goal, to get to another goal. You're constantly putting anxiety on yourself and suffering on yourself.
But then in a
Where
way,
if you do what you love, that's not happening at all.
So really, Alan Watts is only talking to retards when he's saying that. I say
also
this
in the 70s, and not a lot of this
no,
information
but I
was
mean,
going around.
if you're stupid enough to not
Especially
understand
Eastern concepts.
Yeah. So
West.
if you're stupid enough to like be doing a job that you hate and being like, oh jeez, I hate this job. I wish I could do something else. Like, stupid is as stupid does. You know, that's just a closed loop.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. So like, you know, the why be better. It's probably like this too. The people who would need to hear why be better, they could never use it. You know, that's how I sort of think. Because they wouldn't, like, if you're that dumb that you're in a situation that you hate and you keep trying to be as good as you can at it and you still hate it, like, you're dumb. You're like, I don't know how else to fucking say that. I don't think there's any other way to say that. You're basically stupid if you're in a situation that you don't like and you're just continuously doing it and like, you know, we're fucking free, you know, like go do something. Like, I get people would have lots of things to say. If I quit this job, I can't pay these bills. If I can't pay these bills, like I'm out, you know, like in the maybe to them that's just like basically me quitting this directly leads to me being homeless. So like maybe that's their fear section. I don't know, but I think often this is where I always get pissed off, and I think we give way too much credit to people and their capacity to think. You know, like people aren't thinking as much as we think they think, and I think this is the downside being any type of philosophical or like a thinking man is you start to think like, oh, you know, everybody's thinking like most brains are fucking shut off. These cats asleep.
Yeah, everyone's in the fog.
Yeah, like it's very few that you meet that are just, you know, they've got it figured out. And the few that have it figured out, like, they would never need to hear something like Alan Watts. But what would happen is, like, maybe 20 years down the road, they're already in their career successful at it. They come across Alan Watts just by happen chance. And they see this, like, why be better? And they'd be like, yeah, like, that fucking makes sense. Like, I did that. And, like, you know, no brainer. But then, you know, I guess a lot of these quotes get tailored to idiots. Do you feel like not all, of course, but like
they definitely have a niche of people that are more receptible to these things.
So, do you think?
Because like not everyone likes the way Alan Watts talks or understands what he's trying to say. I'm definitely that kind of person. I listen to something and I'm constantly deciphering things, and you know this about me already.
Yeah,
I can read something and remove all the garbage and find all the gold in something. That's just the way I function, how I read things.
If you're not doing that, you're not really absorbing any useful information. Right?
I think that's really part of things that
be suspect all the time.
It's really part of how you become a collected person. You know what I mean? Like you notice
get used to like deciphering bullshit because everybody talks in code, man. You know, like people want you to believe certain things, and you gotta think like, okay, what am I gonna do with this? Am I even gonna do anything with this? Like, could be just straight up fuck that. But would you kind of say? I just want to touch on this. Do you think that half these quotes are almost futile because the people that they would apply to aren't people that could even understand them? Or do you think that everybody has the capacity to understand anything? Do you think that's a dangerous thing?
That's a very dangerous question, but no, I don't think everyone has the capacity. I think there is a majority that has a capacity, but not everyone.
Majority?
I would say a majority has the potential.
Really?
Yes.
Majority?
Majority.
For sure. Majority? Majority?
I'm going to say that. I'm going to say potential.
I mean, you know what I think already. Because I always
the thing is like no one
things.
wants to put in the time to
Well,
really
see. This is the thing. Like,
and yes, there is a hierarchy.
Is it laziness or is it inability? I feel like saying inability is more accurate because if it was just laziness, then it would be more okay to be frustrated with it.
Yeah.
But if I just consider people incapable of doing things that would be better for them, I find it much more easier to live my life because I think this is where people get caught up in being preachy and they say, people, you've met people who would want to go take these Alan Watts quotes and say it to like every person that they saw in this situation where they thought it would better that person. And what would occur with that person is they've run into time after time them fucking explaining these things, saying these things to these people, and then nothing happens. They just wasted all this breath and air on this person. This person stayed the same way they were before they heard whatever that person said, and that's just that. So then it becomes, is that person who didn't do this, are they lazy or are they incapable? For me, it seems more of a lack of capacity, like an incapability. I don't think they actually are. And this is where I always like the idea of like past lives and future lives. Because for me, it makes it kind of okay that they're incapable of this life, because maybe next life they'll be capable. Of course, that's a concept in itself, a big one, but
Yeah.
I always find that's easier to apply to these situations, because I'm like, hey, if motherfucker can't do it right now, I ain't wasting shit on that homie. I'm fucking do what I'm doing. And, you know, hopefully for him next life,
some people are hard, man. Some people just they won't get it, because it's not even because they can't get it. It's just because they don't have the time. They don't have the time to put in to like really understand these concepts.
That's applying the kind of laziness.
I feel like
Yeah.
that is part of the majority, is the laziness, and then the people who can do it.
Yeah.
Then the laziness.
Because I think, would you agree with?
That's what I mean by potential.
See, like some
They have
people,
potential too, but that doesn't mean they will.
some people have the, well, because I just kick potential at the door. Like potential is kind of what he would say by
Potential
the.
is optimistic.
What Alan Watts says when he says by that, like, why would you be better? Like, that almost applies to the potential thing, because if you have the potential, like, you're eventually going to get there.
And
You just
like the thing is, like,
towards it.
I think you're realizing something here, is that you're thinking, he's saying why become better, not because he doesn't say don't become better. He just says why.
Yeah,
He's asking a question.
Yeah, like I would kick him out of my room and be like, "You can get the fuck out of here. I got work to do." Like, why become better? You fucking go say that to the mirror, homie. I got fucking shit.
But that doesn't
to do, bro.
that doesn't give you any argument, though. You're just saying that because you didn't like what he said.
Because it's stupid, and like I'm already being like I'm working at being better. I'm doing what I'm doing. Like I'm doing what I feel like I should be doing. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna keep getting
Like I
better.
said, I'm gonna bring that back.
Well,
real
this
quick.
is why like I would kick him out of the room, because I'd be like, you know, fucking homie, I ain't got time for this type of conversation, right? I ain't the guy. There is guys, but I ain't him, man. Go find him. But then, does that person exist that he's talking about? And this is where we kind of said,
because like I responded to that. I understood what he meant by that.
Mm-hmm. But you understanding it, and like, because you're smart enough to understand it. You just read that and you're like, hey, I get that. And that's what I'm kind of saying. Like the people
the philosophy I got from that whole segment that he had recorded was, like you said, it's a very like do what you love kind of thing. The thing is, what he was explaining was, if you were to be better, then that's something you don't have now, right?
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, obviously that's
so if you're
how
doing
that
something
goes.
you love,
Yeah.
there's no getting better. You're just bettering yourself without even.
You're bettering yourself by getting better, bro.
Yes.
Yeah. So like.
By doing what you love.
Yeah.
Yes.
So still, I feel like when you heard that didn't really change your life too much by hearing that. You're just like, yeah, that makes sense, and you already know that. Like, I don't feel like for
he's trying to end the suffering of always trying to push yourself to the next goal, the next thing in life.
Yeah, but then see, like, things take work, man. Like, he's almost if you're okay, if you're running on that train of thought, if that's the one, that kind of implies like, you know, don't put any effort into things. Like, everything requires work. You only get things by doing work.
That's not what I'm saying at all.
Okay, well then, so that's not that. Then what's the next?
It's to figure out what makes you tick, what makes you want to get up in the morning.
Yeah.
Those are the things you need to figure out in your life, is what makes you want to fucking move.
So then still, like, the way, I guess I really feel like we're not doing him justice by saying that that's his quote, because it seems like what he's explaining, that could be summarized a way better way than, like, why be better? And this is why I hate Watts, because he kind of says these, like, smug things, like, why be better? And then people are like, like, some people, but that I think that's what he thinks people are going to think. He thinks that people are going to be like, why
he was also
jeez, this is like...
He was also an entertainer, right? So
the entertainer, he's fucking pissing me off.
But like that was the whole thing, is to bring people in. Like, oh,
yeah, okay, I get.
What do you mean?
So a bit of a that's what I think, and like, see, this is the thing. Like, how many people actually think like that?
It's almost like
that, you know,
it's almost like the 70's clickbait.
Okay, I get it. That's a good way to put it. That's so Alan Watts, we've confirmed, is 70's clickbait. We haven't confirmed that, but I like how that's worded.
So quick thing, do you want to go to the 15 minutes, or you want to cap it, or you want to do a quick review?
We cap this at Alan Watts is 70's clickbait. That's a good way to end it.
It's good. I like
we
that.
wrap this up, and It's been fun. And next one's soon to come because
This is number 1. We'll see how this one. I don't know how people like it. You know.
Fuck how people like it, bro. I had fun.
I had fun
putting this shit out.
Keep going.
And I mean, let us know. Of course, we'd love to hear back from you.
Definitely.
See what you think, and think about what you think, and think if it's thought out, and if it's not thought out, well, I won't think about it no more.
All right, man.
Pleasure as always, Jules.
Contact Pluto.
Peace.